Welcome, welcome. We're going to see how we can fix this. So, okay, so I like this. And so let's look here. We got mic up and running. We got audio device, header source. So So, first of all, let's get in here. We got that connected. Okay. Music services, plugins. Okay, so let's start here.
Every single thing you want, including the dreaded audio. When you first install OBS, you'll most likely either have a blank slate, or maybe you've already played around a bit, or even installed a template overlay from a website. For this, I want you to start with a blank slate. So
Yeah.
on top of OBS,
Whatever.
click this little drop down that says Scene Collection, and click New. Once it opens, name this one whatever you want. I'm going to name mine today Subscribe. This will add a new blank setup. If you want to swap back, go to the same process you did, but don't click on New, and instead click on the overlay in your list. Don't worry, everything I've done so far hasn't deleted all your work. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll give you a quick tour of OBS, and yes, don't worry, I'll deep dive into everything, but first, you need to know your way around. In the middle, you have your display window. This is what you'd be brought
Yeah. No, I'm already there.
right now. But right now, it's blank, obviously. Unlike other tools such as Streamlabs or Twitch Studio, OBS doesn't come with event lists, so you can't see your new follows or new subscribes, or a chat window even, so you can't even see your chatters. But don't worry, we'll set both of these up later as docs, and they'll be on your left and right, just like any other tool. Below that, we have 4 boxes. On the far left, we have scenes. You'll set up different scenes for different reasons. For example, you'll need a scene for gaming, a scene to say you're going to be right back, or a scene for just chatting to your viewers. If we had those 3 scenes set up and clicked between them, then we would be transitioning. More on that later. In the middle, we have sources. These are the assets you have added to the scene you have selected. On the right, we have the mixer. These are your audio sources that will be transmitted, and you can control your audio from here. Further to the right, we also have our scene transition controller. This lets you set up stingers and animations for transitioning between scenes. And then on the far right, you have controls. This lets you start stream, start recordings, turn on studio mode, and of course, open your settings. And that is really everything you need right now for getting set up. The rest will be covered throughout the video, but I will quickly mention if you're wanting to learn about streaming settings in particular and how to avoid laggy streams,
Activity feed, audio device.
laggy streams, and making sure your stream settings are crystal clear. So I will show you how to install alerts, chat widgets, and fix your audio in only a few seconds, but first, let's cover the basics. On the left, we have scenes, as I said. You'll make your scene for different purposes. For example, you'll make a game scene. So we right-click and name game scene. Now, I might be setting up a gaming scene, but I'll cover everything you need to know to build any scene you want. Think of this as building blocks. In the middle, we have sources. Sources are, again, all of your media that are in the scene you currently have selected. Right now, it's empty, but if we click this plus sign at the bottom, we can add sources such as game capture, which you'll need if you're trying to capture a game in your gaming scene. If you don't have a game open, it will be blank for now, but don't worry about it. And also, it's important to remember that not every game will be captured in this. Some games need window or display capture to actually be captured, so you might have to try different options. But anything you want to add to a scene, you'll do it with this plus sign. That could be video graphics, or it could be still images, or it could be any of the dozens of widgets you'll add with browser sources. For example, we also want alerts. So if someone follows while you're live, an alert plays on screen. Unlike Streamlabs, OBS doesn't come with alerts, but with Twitch alerts, you can set these up in 10 clicks. Or if you're on YouTube, you can use Stream Elements. For Twitch alerts, head to your Twitch dashboard, click Alerts, create Alert Box, name it, click Edit Alerts, and then in the bottom right, copy this browser source URL. Come back to OBS, click the plus, click Browser, name it Alerts, and then paste the copied URL I showed you into the URL box. Click Save, and now if you click Send Test Alert, you'll see you have all the default Twitch alerts set up. There's a full video in the description customizing these alerts. For now, that's the basics. Let's move on. Your game scene will probably also need a webcam, maybe some support bars for your latest follower or latest subscriber, and potentially you'll also want your chat on screen. First, let's start with the webcam. Let's click the plus again and click Video Capture Device. We'll then select our webcam and then resize it down by clicking the corner and dragging it down. Now, the source list isn't a random order, it's actually layers. Imagine the bottom layer is behind everything else. So if I drag my webcam below my game capture, it is hidden. If you can't see a source, it's worth considering whether or not it's placed in the right section of your list. Now I want to add my support bars that the name of my latest follower will appear in. So I would click the plus and I can either click image if my support bar graphic isn't animated, or I can click media source if it is an animation or a video file. All of the graphics I use in today's video are available for free for download from the Discord server linked in the description. I think we have about 3 to 4 dozen fully animated overlays in there now, just for free, so of your list. Now I want to add my support bars that the name of my latest follower will appear in. So I would click the plus and I can either click image if my support bar graphic isn't animated, or I can click media source if it is an animation or a video file. All of the graphics I use in today's video are available for free for download from the Discord server linked in the description. I think we have about 3 to 4 dozen fully animated overlays in there now, just for free, so you can have those if you want. My support bars are animated, so I click media source. I'll find my animated bars file on my computer, and I will add them in here. Since they are animated, I also need to make sure I double click my support bar layer so the settings open, and then I'll click loop, or else it will stop playing after the animation finishes. Any animation you want to keep playing forever needs loop turned on. This process is also how you can import a frame for your webcam or really any other graphic. But first, we want to add our follower name to our support bars. The issue is OBS doesn't come with label widgets built in, making it a little bit tricky. Instead, you'll have to use Stream Elements to add these. Don't worry, it's actually really simple once you do it once. So you'll head to streamelements.com, you'll log in and connect your Twitch or YouTube account if you're streaming there, click Streaming Tools on the left at your dashboard and click New Overlay. Set your overlay's resolution to the same size as your OBS. If you don't know what that is, you can check this in the settings, video, and it's the base canvas. So for us, it's 1080p. You're gonna click the plus and click Add Static/Custom. Click Video, and then in the top right, click Change Video. Upload, and you'll upload your support bar file from your computer. The reason we are adding this support bar graphic again, but now on Stream Elements, is because it will be far easier for us to add the label to fit the bar if we do it all in one place, rather than adding a label to Elements and then trying to make it fit in OBS. Click the plus sign again, click Labels, Follower, Latest Follower, and you'll see it's been dropped in here. But then if you click it, you'll be able to edit what it says up here in the top left. You can change the font, you can change the size of the font, you name it, you can do it here. Our overlays actually come with custom fonts that match the design. So for example, this is the paint splatter pack. So I'll set this to blow brush so it looks a bit like it's someone spray painted. I'm going to turn on dynamic font size so I can resize it onto the bar, and I'll add a little drop shadow to it. Now, I know I went through that a bit quick, but stream labels are simple to add and really powerful. Even just opening the dropdown, you can see dozens of other types of labels. And if you want, in the playlist linked in the description, I have a stream labels tutorial that covers everything you need in about 9 to 10 minutes. This video would go on far too long if I did a deep dive into labels now, so instead I'm showing you the basics so you can get going, and the other video can help you become a pro later. Once you've positioned your label and you're happy with it, you'll click save, you'll name it, and then click this little chain to copy the URL. Head back to OBS, hit the plus, select the browser source, and paste this in just like you did last time. But extra step, change the width and height to match what you set your canvas resolution and overlay resolution. So remember, mine was 1080p, so I'll set this to 1920 by 1080p. For you, make sure it just simply matches your base canvas. Now, what if I don't like where my bars have fallen naturally and I want to move them all to the bottom of the screen? Well, I can. I just click and drag that source all the way down and it moves everything because I'm simply moving the Stream Elements overlay I made and imported. But LJ, now we're left with 2 support bars. Don't worry, I did that on purpose so I could show you guys how to delete a source. If you go down to your source list, click it and click delete. But if I wanted to move my webcam and its frame that goes around it, I can click and drag each one individually to move them. But a much easier and neater way is to select both my graphics and hit the plus button, then add a group source and drag all the sources into one folder named webcam. I can then click the group and move that around and it will move everything inside it. Now we do hit a snag. We have about 3 to 4 support bars on our screen. And yeah, you could use these other bars for things like new donation labels or new sub labels. But if you want to get rid of them or crop anything inside OBS, you can just by clicking on the source, holding down Alt, and then dragging it to resize from the vertical or horizontal boxes. Personally though, I will say if we're resizing or cropping sources that come from Stream Elements first, I prefer to simply crop and resize it there on their overlay editor, because then it loses less quality when scaling it up inside OBS. This alt drag also works with every other source, and specifically when it comes to resizing your camera. Sometimes you want a square camera inside your game to block less of the gameplay. So if we import this square webcam frame that comes optional with all of our overlays and lay it over our webcam, we can then hold Alt and we can drag the camera source to be a square and it will fit inside the box nicely. The last step of our game scene, let's add chat to your screen. You'll need to head back to Stream Elements and follow the same process as earlier and make a new overlay. You don't want your support bars and chat in the same overlay. Once you have your new overlay, hit the plus sign and click Stream Tools, then click the chat. It'll add the default chat box most likely, and it doesn't look great. So at the top left of the properties, you can change the height and width to change the size of the box, but also it has some presets of chat styles. Personally, I prefer setting it to custom so I can remove the hard background. And then if you click text settings, you can change the font, add drop shadows, and well, really anything you want. Once we're done, we'll copy the browser source and then paste it as our new browser source in OBS. And just like earlier, we're going to make sure that the browser source matches the resolution of the overlay resolution that we set. And now let's put this chat box below our camera and our followers. Type something in Twitch chat for the test and make sure it is below your camera in the source list. So now that it scrolls up, it'll go under your camera nicely. It just looks nice and smooth this way. Congratulations, you have a game scene set up. Now let's go back to our scene list and make a just chatting scene. We're gonna hit the plus on the scene list and name it just chatting and then hit OK. And with that, all our work is gone. Oh my god, what have we done? Just kidding, it isn't actually gone. It's just in another scene. If you click the game scene, it will transition back to that one we just set up. Now, you might not want to transition every time you select a new scene, so what do? Well, you click on studio mode on the bottom right, and now when I click game scene, it shows me the game scene on the left, and I can click transition, and it moves to the right. What is shown on the right is being broadcasted out, and what is showing on the left is the preview of the scene that you're looking at transitioning to. You can go ahead and set up your just chatting scenes however you want. It is the same process as your game scene. Just hit the plus and insert the source that you're trying to add. For me, I recommend adding your webcam as a full screen or at least quite large. You can add your chat to one of the sides, and don't forget to add your alert box as well so you can hear when people follow in this scene. You can just copy and paste most of this from the game scene and then resize it, but if you want chat, alerts, or other browser sources to look and be different between scenes, well then you need to set up a new overlay on Elements or Twitch alerts and then add the new browser source. It's the same process as I showed you earlier though, but you can see.
In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Caster Labs Caffeinated, an all-in-one solution that combines your chat, your events, alerts, and all that stuff from all these different platforms into one unified solution. Before we dive into today's content, let's go ahead and pause for a moment to consider the value of making smart decisions. Speaking of which, we're thrilled to once again partner with Mint Mobile, the pioneers in transforming the wireless industry. They're dedicated to providing premium wireless service without that hefty price tag we've all come to dread. Ever find yourself puzzled by the sky-high cost of your wireless bill? Well, if so, Mint Mobile is on risk at Clark, their eSIM 15-minute directly. Head over to Get Premium for a year goes. What's going on, guys? Chad here from How To Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at Caster Labs Caffeinated. This is a really neat program I happened to stumble across, and I was mainly looking for some ability to do multi-streaming, but also to not have to pay for the the combination of chat and all those extra features that typically other companies are going to charge you quite a bit of a markup on to do those things. And that's kind of how I ended up on Caster Labs. And I also found multi-streaming for only $4, which is actually a really, really good deal. I'll have that video linked as well if you guys want to check that out. So without further ado, let's jump over to the computer and take a look at Caster Labs in all of its glory so you guys can see how useful and interesting this program can be for you for, whatever you're doing with, say YouTube live stream, Twitch live stream, Robo, all these other platforms, just mixed together, make a community just come together as one. All right, so now we're over at the computer, and this is Caster Labs Caffeinated. And like I said, we do have two options here. We've got the ability to multi-stream, and then we've got the main product here. And Caster Labs is pretty neat because we'll kind of go through this really briefly before we log in and set up our own. But we basically have free widgets and alerts for multi-streaming with no silly OBS perks, no ads, no ads in chat, no subscriptions or anything like that. And you can just download this on your computer if you've got Windows 10 or up, and it's just a really simple interface. It's easy to use, and this is kind of a quick preview of what to expect here. And everything just kind of works off of OBS browser sources. So if you've used OBS browser sources before, it's going to be pretty easy to follow along. And we can also see that we've got information on streaming your way. So we've got platforms that are supported. Looks like Twitch, Trovo, YouTube, DLive, TikTok, and Kick. So that's pretty much most of the big platforms that anybody would be streaming on. And they just have integrations with all of those. And there's a few more that they've added since then. And we can basically take all of our widgets and alerts that we want to set up and include events from all those different platforms to work in this one ecosystem. So basically just a little program that takes care of absolutely everything. And then they talk about some other stuff too. Everything you need, free and easy to use, free forever, no compromises, that's a guarantee. So you can use your favorite TTS voices, so text to speech, developer friendly, custom emotes, integration with your favorite platform, Spotify integration, and more. And I can tell you right now, this tool has been getting worked on, and it's just getting some good updates. So if this is something that interests you, maybe stay tuned. And if it's something you like, maybe go ahead and give it a shot and let us know what you think in the comment section down below. So now let's go ahead and get signed in to Caster Labs Caffeinated. Basically, just go ahead and select whatever platform you want to get started with. I'm going to start with Twitch, so I'm going to click this button, go ahead and get signed in, and then I'll meet you over in Caster Labs. So let's go ahead and get started now that we're here, and we can see that there's kind of like a little tutorial that walks us through, and we've got a dashboard where we can go ahead and start adding panels to. So if we want to add a viewers list, we could add that in here. And you can actually adjust this to say do 2x2, 4x4, and we can actually change this to basically give us a view that lets us see our current chat for our live stream, viewers list, and this is kind of similar to what your Twitch dashboard would be, but we're actually combining our dashboards for all of our different platforms that are connected together. So this is pretty neat, and you can, yes, scale this up, but for the sake of this video, I've got this window a little bit smaller so we can zoom in on things while we're talking about it. So we've got that there. We also have chatbots, and we can set up this chatbot to essentially work with all of our platforms as well. We can set timers for automated messaging, and then hide commands and stuff from the chat if we wanted to. So yeah, there we go. There's some very basic tools, and then let's talk about our widget and alerts, and we can get to that by basically clicking this plus here. And if you don't know how to add a browser source, you can click this here, and I love this, that this is built into the software. I don't even have to show you how to do it. You can literally click this button, and it'll walk you through the entire process of adding in a browser source into OBS, so you can go ahead and get these alerts or whatever you're trying to set up inside of there. Big props for putting a tutorial inside of your program. Just that much easier for the end users, and that's what's awesome about this. So yeah, we can click this plus, and we can set up the different type of things that we want to set up. So if we want like follower alert, we can do that. If we want subscription alerts, donation alerts, alerts, labels. Labels are really good. They're kind of like tickers or labels is what they've been called in the past. They would just sit like say on top of an element inside of your say overlay or something that says recent followers. You can click that and click your follower label, and then just have that sitting on screen with the most recent follower. We can do interactions through the chat, emoji rain, goals, all that other stuff, and cam widgets, and now playing, and all that other stuff too. We'll come back to this in a second because I think this is important, but I also think it's very important that we talk about all the other features of why I think this is more than just something that can do that, because it can do this just for one platform if you want to, but it can do it for a lot more platforms, and it's pretty nice. So we also have our docs. These docs you can copy and paste. These are really useful for putting inside of OBS as a browser doc, and once again they show you how to do that. So you can go to the browser doc, add a doc, copy this link, paste it in here after you give it a name, then click apply, and you can see that you now get a doc for the different things that we were talking about at the beginning. So we can see that people have joined the chat. If we wanted to use the viewers list, we can do that, or the chat, blah, blah, blah. So basically all the stuff that you would get in this view, we can actually set up inside of these docs and import them essentially into OBS. So every single time you launch it, it's just there and waiting for you, which is really cool as well. So now let's go into the settings, because this is where I think this gets kind of fun. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do in here, and actually I'm seeing something new for the first time. I did not know they had coffee integration, which is actually kind of cool too. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we've got different themes. If you wanted to switch up the themes and the look, you can go through there. We do have light and dark modes, and we also have the icons. We can actually change those if we wanted to. It's actually kind of neat. I did not know. Oh man, that makes it hard to read once you change it. Yeah, you get different icons that you can change and really make this look however you want. This right here is not as important. This is where I would say things get really interesting. We've got a few different options for connecting our live stream services, and we can connect Twitch, Trova, YouTube, DLive, Kick, and TikTok. And some of these are still in beta and are adding more and more features over time. But essentially, if you multi-stream all these platforms, we can start integrating all this stuff together. So if somebody follows you on this platform and you want to be able to see it on your live stream, well, you don't have to have separate alerts for this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. You can literally set them all to work together and just get in your queue of alerts. We also have different music services, so if you want to connect Spotify, you can. If you wanted to do Pretzel, that's an option. And then even if you wanted to use like your system sounds for your music, you can do that too. This right here is, in my opinion, the bread and butter. Being able to add all this together and know that your alerts on YouTube and Twitch are going to go ahead and show up in the same place is just absolutely amazing. So give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and connect YouTube as well so we can see some of those other features. So now that I've got YouTube connected, we'll kind of move along and we'll come back to see how that can affect all the different options that we have whenever we're working on our alerts and all that stuff. We also have a plugins folder, so if you develop or know anybody that's working on plugins, you might to mess with the SDK on this and actually make plugins that integrate directly into Caster Labs Caffeinated. That's pretty neat. You don't typically see that on projects like this. Really neat to see that open integration and the ability for other people to work with this. And then we've got all this information here. Yeah, so here's Caster Labs. Stupidly unsafe settings. Oh, we're clicking that. Yeah, we're gonna leave that checked. We'll check that in a second. And then it looks like it's opening up a tab called Developer Stuff, so we'll click on that. Yeah, so you can manually authenticate a program if you wanted to. So that's interesting. I'm not going to touch on that too much. We can also set up Streamlab alerts. So if you have alerts set up for Streamlabs,
To make super tiny things in Lego, starting with over 50 simple ideas and then go on city. So anyway, let the challenge begin. Okay, now I know Lego alone is really small, but we're gonna have to make it even smaller. So something like this ship in a bottle set, but something like this Lego bottle with a tiny ship printed on it, now that's how. Because of that, we're gonna need super small pieces because they contain a lot of detail in a small amount of space. So it looks like we're gonna be needing big chunky pieces.
all in one
Because
location.
of that,
So you
I
can
went
still
to
use
use
all
my
the
things to
Streamlabs
find
stuff
random tiny
in a
pieces
specific
and then
way,
try to
but
find
still
ways.
have all your platform specific.
Sligoman was
YouTube
murder, and in this
and
video, I'll
and then we
prove the
also
mysterious
have
trade inside a
Ko-fi
haunted
or
castle
Ko-fi
and other
integration,
places
which
around
can
my
also be
legacy
used
to
if you
help
want
us
to use
detective
that for, say,
me
like
find
your
out which of these
as well.
suspects is
There's
fiction.
some integration with that as well. So
It
there
was
we go.
dark and
That's the
stormy
quick
nights, and
rundown
the frog that I
of
arrived with
everything.
the
And now we're
frog.
going to go back
His
to
name
widgets and
was
alerts and
Grayson
start playing
Gray,
around.
and I had to
And
build this
this is where
entire
this gets kind of
train with
interesting because I
only
believe we've
bricks.
already added
He's my
in
hands
a
Gray.
few more different options since we
That's
added
just
YouTube.
classic one.
Because there's a
I
few
am
different things that
fully
you can
playing this
do
game. That
on
one they
YouTube
can
that
broken
you
into
might be able to do on Twitch.
Like
So we
video
can actually go
games.
through and
From
we can edit
empty,
these things.
we big next to
If you want to set up a simple follower alert,
this
go
fancy
ahead,
schmancy
set the
platform.
follower
I'm
alert,
only on the
add
baby.
those in.
Grayson
We
checked the
can send
clock
it to
tower,
follow,
the ticket
so you can
booth,
see
and
that's
the
exactly
passenger
what that looks
platform,
like.
but
So
couldn't
that's what
find
our
a
alert
trace
looks
of the
like.
murderer
To
anywhere. Which
say
means they must have gotten on the train.
color to
Sorry, no, not that.
blue.
You two have to build between the colors get on first, with them designing to look like suspect number one. First, like most boys, he went through a phase in his bed where he was obsessed with Frank. But Percy never really grew out of it. Honestly saying, it's been his lifelong dream to take a ride on the Lake Orient Express and see its shiny green locomotives that he's constantly. We follow the gold detailing, one of those slanty guys to front, and the wheels that are connected by that thing that they go. Was a technical term, by the way. But unfortunately, speaking stuff with fortune, which means the killer either has a lot of money or he snuck on like Percy did by hiding in this coal top, which I learned last time in Call Kingston. But that turned out to be a mistake. Because of suspect number two, Cooper the conductor. Who was the inspector to every passenger on board this coach trial. And if they don't, they get to get off the train. Ever. Many people have died without having a ticket, and others have been born on it.
Alright, I added in the Caster Lab logo, and you can see if you had your own logo or whatever image you want to put there, it will show at the top. And you can go ahead and integrate an image as well.
The next stop,
And then we
yeah,
can
his
also
ticket
say
check,
that
and
we
he's able
want
to
to
take the
use
train
this
from Oakwood.
because once
You need
again,
to be
this is a
careful.
follow-up
Someone
alert.
in this
We'll have the
very
ability to
area,
say
or the
follow
one with the
or,
bill, is
you know, on different
murderer.
platforms. So if you say a follow on Twitch isn't as important to you, you can turn it off and then consider a follow on YouTube to be a little bit different. I believe the following on YouTube is the paid version, and then it's a little bit different compared to the subscriptions on YouTube. But YouTube has followers and subscribers now too, and Twitch has followers and
tips for
subscribers.
getting
I
your
think the way
hands
they
full
value them is actually the exact
Feed come
opposite.
up great for any
On
child
Twitch,
that are
a
especially
follow is
helpful
free,
for
on
children who
YouTube,
tell
a
me
follow is
exactly
paid,
and take a
and
long
vice
time to
versa.
get
So
there.
you can go through and kind of set these up to these alerts however you want and decide which ones you want to come through for which platforms, and then you can go ahead and test those as well. And yeah, so you would do that. and then you
24
would
hours,
copy
I'm
up
gonna
that follower
challenge myself to make
alert, and now
super
you've got
tiny
a
things in
full
my game.
alert.
Starting with
If
over
you wanted
50.
to go ahead and say do an alert for raids and all this other stuff, we can simply go through here and add all those different options in. And to add them to your stream, it's as simple as copying that. And then we can even set tag colors on these if we want. So we can hide these or set these specific colors for, say, these are my YouTube alerts and these are my Twitch alerts. Whatever you want to do, there's a lot of customization options here, and we can set that. And we can even set stuff like
Three,
that.
I don't know, use the white stuff
So
a little bit and make sure.
we can see a now playing widget, so we can set that for like our music.
So the only inaccurate thing about this is that it hasn't blown up.
A label.
I also made a Republic Gunship, which is a vehicle from the second movie, and then I also made a super small replica of the Millennium Falcon. And for all my Marvel fans, here's a small replica of the Avengers now. I'll look at Spider-Man. Here's one of the great pyramids of Giza, and here's the man.
Like what it does. Well, it's here. It's ready for you to start using. So yeah, guys, that is Caster Labs.
Challenge. Well, I used to think that building small was boring and tough, but even with just a few small pieces, you can still be creative. Design a beautiful
So
place.
if you live stream and you stream on multiple platforms, otherwise known as
Yeah,
multi-streaming,
you do it right now.
or simulcasting, whatever you want to call
Okay,
that,
hold on.
then maybe you should go ahead and check out Caster Labs Caffeinated, just because it's going to make alerts
It's
easier.
like a
It's going to put
backwardated
everything on
the
one location. It's got dots that integrate directly into OBS for you, so you can see
It's
all of your chat at
and
once.
so anyway,
See all of
let
your
the
alerts
challenge
at
begin.
once.
Which
And
trail
yeah, basically
and to
integrate
celebrate
everything
why
into
not build the biggest
And I will
Lego
say this,
creation I've ever
to
made.
say
And
this,
what's
I think
bigger
this
than
is
a
a very
mineral
lightweight
city
tool
where
that I've
I have
not
many
seen many
figures to
people
put.
on
So I
Sandbox
emptied out my entire room and my
So
plan is to
really neat
transform
tool,
this
really
entire
cool.
space into
And
one.
like
But
I
first
said, if
we
you
need
guys
to
want to
set
check
the
out
environment
a
so it actually
multi-streaming
feels like
option that's
one.
only
So I'm gonna
$4,
take my
then
entire
check out
wall
the
so it looks
Caster
like the
Labs
sky.
multi-stream on this card over here. Thank you guys so much for
That's
watching.
all
This has
the
been
thing
Jack,
that
House
I'm
Media,
well,
helping you take your
for the
media to the
way,
next
because
level.
the city's gonna
I'll
be
finish
huge
out
when it's
with
done.
my outro
And for the
catchphrases.
land, we need as many big
But
clips
yeah,
as
guys, this has been
possible,
Jack.
so I then
And
made
we'll see you
Lego
guys
reach and
next
got
time.
every
Thanks for watching.
single one that was at the
Peace.
Lego store. Okay, the bank is loaded, but it was empty of my bank account after buying all the space.
Are you
Okay, now
interested
we're
in
actually
multi-streaming
ready
but
to
have
begin
no
building
idea
the
how to
city. So
manage
the
all these
first step
alerts?
was giving
Lucky
it
for you,
its
in
own
this video, I'm gonna
population.
show you
So
how
I
you can
grabbed
manage
every
all.
single thing I owned and placed them on my table. But before they can become official citizens, we need to check each and every one of them for criminal background, like a legal building technique, putting stickers on like this, or anything else suspicious. Okay, everyone else is clear, and now I'm doing the whole moving forward. And now for a special citizen, we can welcome them to their brand new home. But right, there's one of the young and the biggest something they have, but we need to quickly build stuff down, and first thing you'll say, you need to have one for over there and so on. So I built it, and I started building one multiple levels and multiple good things, and now we need to add furniture, so I think these small things are fun. So same thing as second room, I built these kitchens, so we can let them cook, and now that apartment already, it's time for our big usually move in, but I don't have to put in there, so I'm gonna. Now everybody has a place to live, and we can turn their friends from there, but we still have a long way to go until our city is finished. And thankfully, I have an entire area you can use to build. I'll find a city. But the next thing people need is a store so they can buy stuff to survive. And your store has the widest variety of products. So that's what I build next. Okay, the front's complete, but there's no merchandise to buy. First, I have a grocery section with fresh fruit and frozen meats, which I look for safe and clothing department, and you can buy cans and fruit. I then built an electronics section with phones, tablet, and a flat screen TV. And for the final equipment, I built a video section where you can buy skateboards, basketballs, stuffed toys, and actual Lego sets. The store was open for business and people in Cafe also were what they got paid to do with. Everything the city is its own form of government with its own mayor. So I built a stage where the citizens can go up to debate important political topics to see who's the right party. Okay, you vote for this guy. Oh, and then what about this guy? Okay, we make it a vote, and it looks like they've chosen this guy as their new mayor. So now we need to build where he can work and make important plans for the state moving forward. Inside, I built a personal office where he can have a lot of other important work. There's like also built a meeting room where he can discuss important plans for the city, and another room where he can live stream himself to citizens of Lego City and make important announcements. So City now has an old leader, and the citizens will do anything he says. And looks now here's how chance money so we can afford to keep building those facility. Yeah, the problem about those communities is that I don't think people really do it. They really don't and get their money. So next we need to build a speed so you can okay, I was finished. I need to build the inside of this community. The variety of subjects can be taught that every layer really figures with like how can we become a master game, which are also founded in book with. And every part of the school, I even do it's both flagrant. I do this training there's something we make them things people, and I even do this tiny slide using a little and just separating. Okay, the school is complete, and that's another thing I have to watch the there's no emergency services or they don't have any the patient becomes severely injured. But first we need a vehicle for transport, but that's so that $40, I guess that it's where we have to work. And after building it, it's the Lego ambulance with a trendy implementation, and in the very back there's a small room to load them in on a stretcher. So now we're ready to build a hospital to send it to something we're getting quite over and shut down and getting it done. So first I go to the lobby where we can come to get in at this front desk. Then they sit and wait to be paid. Next I open emergency area where many things can get fixed. So I built a shell full of spare management and different tools to easily reuse and replace them. And in this third finally being able to power an X-ray that can fit an entire minifig inside. That way we can scan them for any possible diseases. Okay, this video is now beginning to learn its own road system. So I bought a bunch of these giant Lego ones, and I'm gonna form one giant unit now. Okay, I just put up a lot of space, so I just realized what the point of building a road if we literally don't follow. So my next plan is to build a city a giant car dealership where you can buy basically any car you can possibly want. Okay, so I got this parking lot and it's private showroom for the most expensive room. And then one of them is $10 running costs. So we can deal with it. Most of them electric parking its own EV charging station. This car was in just from the back and we had lots of items in it. This may the most expensive part of it. The cost of people from any auto life play and one cost of rather than going on getting yeah, some basic food at the store and basically nothing basic even if they hire things. So that I'm gonna go to the store and I have a 5-star restaurant. Okay, you can't pay out for a restaurant name, so I don't know if it's gonna be expensive. First, the customer waiting line and walk up to the kiosk to place a reservation. Okay, your table will be waiting 5 hours. And when they're going to be served, they enter the restaurant and are seated in its fancy dining hall with loud music and any type of dish imaginable. Okay, that would be $500 plus $100 and now we built a restaurant, something called was $20 Lego company. We'll be adding to the building and it's a Lego ice cream truck. Inside is extensions to prepare the ice cream and inside of the truck is the window where the customer can order and be served. Okay, at this point the city is ready for a bigger company. So that's great. We tried building out a chronic airport so we can transport people from all over the world. But first we need to build an actual airplane that we didn't. So I went this giant commercial break where I had many seasons like to fit many passengers. That one was because the actual airport. So I first built a gimmick runway that the plane can take off and land on. This guy to direct the plane on and off the runway. And I even built an airport terminal where people check in and wait for their flight. First, they enter this office with a traffic hearing company. Then they pass through the security checkpoint, and finally they enter this gate full of chairs where they wait for their flight. And now that our vehicle is complete, it's time to welcome our new citizens of the Lego City. Okay, you guys all look like the same person. We're going to evolve. Yeah. Oh, wait, no. So the population has grown. It's time to do a good accounting to accommodate its existence. So I know this small meaningful of St. Chapters where the new citizens can live. Look how far. Okay, at this point, the city was starting to collect a lot of grass and it was starting to the ground, which means the city needs to close grass. So I built a Lego garbage truck which was pick up trash around Lego City and the door in the back below and the front and open and built it into the best. Oh, there's trash right here. And to keep the city even clean, I built this living chute to remove any trash or happening on the way. Okay, the city had a new emergency because it looks like this side was getting so hard. This PC literally caught on fire, which means the city now needs its own fire department. So I built this giant Lego fire truck 500 system and pockets on fire today. A ladder so we can pop up any building or work and go. And it even comes with a literal drum that also keeps running. Okay, people can talk about, but I think the world needs a new PC now. Now, something I noticed about the city is there's basically no chamber in nature. So now, like a city, its own park where the citizens can come to live. So I built a small nature walk with a tree full of trees in it. And in the very middle of the park, there's a statue and the guy with a skateboard, and there's some lady even doing a game of flip. Okay, before Yes, see, I'm kind of building and I need a break, so I'm a friend of mine, which is also a Lego YouTuber, and we're gonna build and have anything of its sort. Now, our city has grown something that's also grown into a framework. So to fix that and make our city safer, we need to build it its own police force. So I don't need to do that. Following the structural kind of it has just special people with working lots.
Does it even makes noise?
Yeah, we need to build a prison to lock up
Without
in all of Lego City. So I built this tiny electric fence with secret putting from exchange. I built security cameras and I even built a watchtower with guards. I then built 3 tiny prison cells to punish the criminals with the worst living conditions possible. They get a tiny bed, a toilet, and a small window to breathe. And when it's time to eat, they get fed old, expired bread. My pet dog literally was very little. What we get the city and so I bought those $50 logo.
All right.
It comes with Batman himself. This one was similar what I just needed, and to get around the city, I built him his own personal vehicle, which is this giant pump with working guns that he does. Hey, stop whatever this guy's doing. Stop this foot, and he can come around. I'm gonna quickly speed run to a store that sells Lego to see what Lego makes for a city. Okay, that's how they going at this one for girls. The first Lego set is a full-time burger restaurant. There's this giant burger on top of the building, and the guy who runs the restaurant is restaurant. The customers can either order at the drive-thru window or
Boom. 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 All right. We're fixing this. We want this to fix. Okay. Add video. Edge. Capture audio. All right. Can we hear? Are we clear? Boom, 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 boom. Capture audio. Desktop display. All right, we're setting that up. Boom, 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 boom. So we also need desktop audio. Default. Okay, let's set that. Sorry. Sorry. Is there a problem? No. I'm not. I'm not. Is there an issue? Please tell me if there's an issue. Is there an issue? Taylor, is there an issue? All right. Let's see. Do you say?
People around the island. So I'm built it there. And I got this $100. I guess that was like a
Boom. Hello.
We're on track.
Hello. Hello. Hi. You need to turn that down now. Turn that down. Mace, you need to turn that down. Turn it down. Nope. Turn it down now. Volume.
Okay, the stadium is finished. I built this.
So with that, okay, so then something happened.
Lizard. Lizard.
Need to fix that. We need to fix that. But it's okay. Let's just close that. So the subscription alert. Let's learn how to use Caster Lab because we have that already up. What do you got?
All your alerts from all your different platforms like Twitch, Kick, YouTube, you name it, all in one nice little location so you can manage all of your different alerts when you're multi-streaming. If that sounds good to you, drop a quick like on the video so other streamers can find this video. Otherwise, let's head out faster than my dad did. In order to do this, we're going to be using this free pain-in-the-butt tool called Botrix, which I'll conveniently leave located in the description down below for y'all. And if for whatever reason it gets put on Spanish, just go
With this ultimate streaming tool, you can combine chats of all the streaming platforms you're currently streaming to. The setup is super simple and it takes no longer than a few minutes. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. The first things first, what you have to do is download the program called Caster
Can I
Labs
hear my
Caffeinated.
monitor?
So this program is available completely for
No,
free.
my
You
monitor.
can do so much with it. The link will be down in the description below. This video is not sponsored. I just love the program. It is so simple. So just click on the download for Windows right over here. It will download the program, and once you download it, you can install it, and then I'll show you how to set it up. When you open it for the first time, it will do some updates. It does have some, and then it will open up the program just like this. So you can see Caster Labs Caffeinated dashboard. So you have the dashboard over here with a bunch of different settings. We don't want to change any of that. We want to go to settings first and then set everything up. Before we do any of these settings, we want to go to accounts and then connect all of our accounts that we're going to be streaming to. So if you're streaming on Twitch, connect Twitch. If you're streaming on Kick, connect Kick. And if you're streaming on YouTube, TikTok, or whatever, make sure to connect all of these platforms. And when you do connect them, you will be able to read the chat through the program itself. Super easy. You can also connect the music services, which are, you can use the Windows system. You can use Spotify and even Pretzel. So it does show you like which songs are playing, and people can do like song requests and a bunch of different things. If you are using Streamlabs and you want to have different alerts pop up every time there's an alert going on, all you have to do is just go to Streamlabs alert and then sign in and basically connect Caster Labs to Streamlabs. If you don't use Streamlabs, then you can go to appearance over here and then change all these appearance over here. So you have like a bunch of themes. You have the Caster Labs one, you have bronze, you have the Noir, which is like gray, Cyberpunk is red. I like the Caster Labs one. It's just, it looks, minimalistic and nice. Appearance, I always use dark theme. Icons, you can set up different icons if you want. I'm using their default ones. The emojis, I use Tweemoji, and then that's basically it for the program itself. Now, how do we set up the actual chat? So if we go to dashboard, this is where the chat is. If you go over here, you can see all of the streaming platforms you have connected. So I have Twitch, and if I say anything, 1, 2, 3, it will say it on my Twitch account. If I go to Kick, I can do the same thing, but I think Kick, you cannot, oh, never mind, you still can. Before, you couldn't chat with the client itself, you could only read it, you couldn't reply to it, but now you can as well. So you can reply with Kick, you can reply with Twitch. If you want to see all the chats, you click on all, but you can also go to chatbot over here and you have basically all of the chatbot commands like Fossabot, Nightbot, Stream Elements, all of that. So if you want to use their stuff, you can do that as well. So what's most important for us is to go to the cogwheel in the bottom right of the dashboard and click here. And then here you can see all of the chat settings. So you have the color users by, and you can choose either the user color, the streaming platform, or the app primary theme. So you can have it, if they're coming in from Twitch, their name is going to be purple. If they're coming in from Kick, it's going to be green, and a bunch of different things. So you can, recognize who's who and stuff like that. You can also make it so it dings when a new message comes in. I think this is pretty annoying and it will just annoy your viewers. So definitely don't use that. You can also make it so it reads the messages out loud like a TTS. Text size, you can adjust it over here. Show timestamps is what I use, so it's, I can see when the message was sent, when it was received. Show badges, very cool thing. You can see the badges that they have on specific platforms like Twitch, YouTube, or anything else. Show viewer join leave. I think this is a bit annoying, so I don't have this on. Show the user's platform, definitely what you should turn on, because then it shows their by their name, it shows the icon of the platform they're using, either Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, all of that stuff. You can also show the activities in the chat itself. So if somebody follows you, it will be in the chat, which is perfect. Show the user's pronouns. You can also enable that if you have the pronouns plugin, so they can, you know, use their own pronouns, and then you can see them in the chat and you don't have to ask. Use alternating message backgrounds if you want to change the backgrounds. I don't want to do that, but these are the cool, you know, chat preferences you can enable. And look at this. You can see agent. So now that I, you know, typed that message before, it shows my platform, which is Twitch. It shows that I'm partnered. It shows my Twitch badges. And on Kick, it shows my Kick icon, and it shows my, you know, streamer icon as well, badge, basically. So you can see these unknown. That's join, leave. I think this is pretty annoying. From Kick, cogwheel in the bottom right of the dashboard and click here. And then here you can see all of the chat settings. So you have the color users by, and you can choose either the user color, the streaming platform, or the app primary theme. So you can have it, if they're coming in from Twitch, their name is going to be purple. If they're coming in from Kick, it's going to be green, and a bunch of different things. So you can, you know, recognize who's who and stuff like that. You can also make it so it dings when a new message comes in. I think this is pretty annoying, and it will just annoy your viewers. So definitely don't use that. You can also make it so it reads the messages out loud like a TTS. Text size, you can adjust it over here. Show timestamps is what I use, so it's, you know, I can see when the message was sent, when it was received. Show badges, very cool thing. You can see the badges that they have on specific platforms like Twitch, you know, YouTube, or anything else. Show viewer, join, leave. I think this is a bit annoying, so I don't have this on. Show the user's platform, definitely what you should turn on, because then it shows their by their name, it shows the icon of the platform they're using, either Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, all of that stuff. You can also show the activities in the chat itself. So if somebody follows you, it will be in the chat, which is perfect. Show the user's pronouns. You can also enable that if you have the pronouns plugin, so they can, you know, use their own pronouns, and then you can see them in the chat and you don't have to ask. Use alternating message backgrounds if you want to change the backgrounds. I don't want to do that, but these are the cool, you know, chat preferences you can enable. And look at this. You can see agent. So now that I, you know, typed that message before, it shows my platform, which is Twitch. It shows that I'm partnered. It shows my Twitch badges. And on Kick, it shows my Kick icon, and it shows my, you know, streamer icon as well, badge, basically. So you can see these unknown. That's basically the pronouns. If you disable them right here, it will be gone. And you can see right there, it's completely gone. So if you don't want to have the pronouns by their name, you can do that like this. And now, how do we add this to OBS or whatever streaming platform you're using? It's super simple, and it takes like 2 clicks. Let me show you how to do that. So all you have to do is go to Docs right over here, click on that, and then click on the Stream Chat. That's basically going to be the Stream Chat browser doc. You click on here, it's gonna copy the link, and then you take the OBS itself, right over here, you put it on your monitor, you go into docs, you go into custom browser docs, and then you just name it multi, because I already have the multi chat, but I'm gonna name it multi, and then I'm gonna paste this link right here for this widget, which is right over there. I click on apply, and it's going to pop up right there. So then I can just put it on the side, boom, and now I have the chat right on the side, and I can read Twitch, Kick, YouTube, TikTok, any chat all at once over here. Super simple. It's built into OBS, and that's it. All you have to do every time you open up your OBS is to open up Castrolabs, and then you just have the program open, and then it will be working. If you don't have it open, it will be like a very bright white image. So let me turn off my program, and you can see that it's just gonna be very, very bright white thing, like right here. So that doesn't mean that the program is broken, it's just not open. So if you see this, open the program, and then you can see all the chats built in. And that's how you can set up the multi-chat completely for free in
Let me show you how to set up a multi-chat when you're multi-streaming, so that way you can read it on your second monitor, display it to your viewers, and do whatever else you want with it. And this multi-chat includes TikTok, thank God. I don't know why it's so hard to find one that does. Something with the API key, I don't know. But this one includes TikTok, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, everything you're gonna need. So let's jump in. The tool that we'll be using is by Castrolabs, which I'll leave linked in the description down below. Luckily, they did not sponsor this video, so I can take a dump on their product if I want to. But basically, just follow the link in the description. You're gonna hit the download for Windows button. I don't see a Mac Mac option, so I guess if you're on Mac, you can take this Bean Boozle canister and shove it up here. But after you're done downloading it, you can run the installation process and open it. And by the way, this will work for OBS Studio, Streamlabs, or wherever you want to import it to. If we look on the left-hand side here, we got the dashboard, which isn't showing anything right now. We got Chatbot, if you want to use the Chatbot stuff, I guess. We got widgets and alerts, which I'm not going to be talking about. Docs for later, but we're going to focus on the settings because we need to connect all of our accounts for the multi-chat. So we're going to go to settings, and then right next to appearance is going to be accounts, and this is where you're going to link all of the accounts you want to have your multi-chat for. So you can see that I've connected my Twitch account, my Kick account, my TikTok account, and then you can also do Trovo, YouTube, DLive, whatever else. So after you've connected all of your streaming services to Caster Labs to be able to get the actual chats, then you'll be able to go to the dashboard over here, and then if you look at the very bottom now, you'll see that you have Twitch, TikTok, and Kick, or whatever other platforms that you've connected. I just have these three because these are the three I connected. Also, make sure to keep Caster Labs open and running whenever you're streaming, otherwise your chat will not show up in OBS Streamlabs or your stream. So make sure Caster Labs is open and running whenever you're streaming. But essentially this right here is going to be our multi-chat, so now if we want to import this into OBS Studio and Streamlabs, we need to go to the docs section, and then we're going to click on Stream Chat, which is going to copy that link to our clipboard. So now we need to import it into OBS first, and then I'll show you Streamlabs right after. For OBS users, you're going to go to the top where it says Docs, and then we're going to do Custom Browser Docs, and then we're just going to call this multi-chat, and then the URL we're going to copy paste that URL link and then hit apply, and then now we have our multi-chat here, which you can just drag and dock somewhere else. And then if you're on Streamlabs, all you got to do is click this little button on the left-hand side here, and then you'll be able to choose a layout, and then you're going to drag the website option on one of these spaces, and then you're going to paste in that link into the website option. Hit save changes, and then it'll pop up here, and if you don't see it, there might be a little arrow that you have to pop out, but most of the time, it should be right here, and you can drag this to make it larger or smaller. So once you've added it on OBS, you can just hit close. Streamlabs already done, and then now we can test it. We can go to Twitch, for example. I'll hit test, and so it'll send a message from the Twitch chat there, and then I can test it from Kick. I'll do test, and then once you actually go live, you get TikTok messages. It'll pop up there showing a little icon, and I can show you guys that it worked on my last live stream, so let me pull it up. So if you see here, you can see we got Twitch, and then we got a TikTok user right there, so it has all of the chats, and I was able to make it transparent, so I can show you all that right now, because I don't want to gatekeep. You guys should be able to have this information at your fingertips. And if you want even more secret insider tips, then you can also check out my free Streamers Masterclass down below in the description. But before we customize this, I want to show you how you can add it over your stream so your viewers can see it like I had it in my stream. All you gotta do is add a new source, and then you're gonna use a browser source. We'll call it multi-chat in all caps so the old people can read it. And then we're going to get rid of this URL, and we're going to copy and paste that same URL we did for this one. And then you can make the height and width here so that way the chat doesn't get cut off. So for example, if I wanted to make it taller, we could do it like 1,000 by, I don't know, like 500 maybe. And then we hit OK. And then now we got a big chat here. But then you notice that there's this background here, right? What I ended up doing was I just right-click on the browser source, and then I did filters, and then I did an effect filter. It's the same thing on Streamlabs, so we'll just add a new filter, and we're going to add a chroma key, hit OK, and then I'm going to do the color type to custom, and then I'm going to actually select the color, and then I want to do pick screen color, and I'm going to click on that chat box, and then hit OK, and then now it has made our chat box disappear because we're the new Chris Angel of streaming. Just kidding. We actually have to drag the similarity all the way down to the left, and then smoothness all the way down, and then color spill all the way down, and that's pretty much it. Now, it doesn't look super pretty, but this is what I found to be best case scenario for me. And then I hit close, and then I hold the Alt key on my keyboard to crop out the bottom part, and then crop out a little bit of the right to get rid of that slider. So now you have a transparent multi-chat box. It's the same exact process for Streamlabs, by the way, too. So if you want to actually customize your multi-chat, then you can click on this little gear icon. Are you a streamer that's tired of your ugly basic stream design? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make your stream design look beautiful and professional without spending a single dollar if you don't want to. I know this is a $2 bill, but you know what I mean. We'll be using OBS Studio, and this will work for Twitch, YouTube, Kick, whatever you want. So let's check it out. The first thing we got to do is head over to this site, which I'll leave linked in the description down below. We're going to click on the Join for Free button, so click that. Then we're going to sign in with our platform of choice. I'm going to choose Twitch for this one, but choose whatever you're going to be streaming to. Then you'll have to scroll down and click Authorize. says, we're basically just allowing OWN to access our activity feed, like our followers, our subs, so it can track everything in the alerts and all that. So we're gonna scroll down and hit authorize. Then we got a couple choices. If you look in the top right, you can skip the onboarding and that'll bring you to the home page in case you get lost. You can also choose to download the app, but I'm gonna keep everything super duper simple and easy because you know we like that here. And we're just gonna hit continue in browser. So click that. Then you can connect more of your channels if you want to, if you're multi-streaming, but I'm just gonna stay with Twitch to keep it easy. So I'm just gonna hit next. Then we get to choose up to 5 different free overlays if you want to keep it free. So if you want, you can do black and white or turquoise and pink. I'm gonna do turquoise and pink because we like some colors. So I'm gonna choose starting soon, VRB, just chatting, game scene, and ending scene. So you can choose your 5, and then we're gonna hit next in the bottom right. We're gonna give it a couple seconds to work its magic, and then it sets up everything for us literally in about 2 seconds. So now we're gonna hit go to dashboard, and this is gonna bring us to the home page of OWN. But now if you look at the very top of the screen, this is how we're gonna get around this site. If we click the home button, it's gonna bring us back to the home page where you see everything we started with, and then below that you can see you have access to a chatbot, alerts, multi-chat, events list, donations, literally everything you can need. So if you want to explore later, you totally can. Then you have the store button next to home at the top. This is where you'll be able to see all the different chat widgets, music players, event lists, goal bars, stream alerts, hype widgets, scene transitions, label, mood widgets, credits widget, everything. So much stuff to go through. I know it's really overwhelming. They also have other free stream overlays you can choose between if you want, but to keep it super simple, we're going to work with the one that we just got. But you can feel free to swap out later down the road if you want. They also have multi-streaming widgets, label designs, a couple free ones in each. They got their top 10 overlays, whatever. Which, by the way, if you do decide that you want to pay, you can just hit upgrade in the top right corner. And if you choose the stream pass, you'll literally have access to pretty much everything, unlimited scenes, 400 premium overlays, 500 scene transitions, every stream widget included, literally everything in here, unlimited downloads, emotes, everything, even AI stuff, and over 17,000 banner panels and graphics for your actual channels like Twitch and YouTube. So if you decide that's worth it for you, you can actually go and click on the stream pass and then type in the promo code CPAUSE, all caps, and then hit apply, and that'll save you 50% off, which is a lot of money to save if you want to spend that at Arby's. I like Arby's, I know, or McChickens, or whatever floats your boat. So if you want to, that option is there. But if you want to keep it free, I totally understand. Balling on a budget is super dope, and we can make that work. So we can navigate out of the store by clicking My Scenes at the top next to it, and then you'll see on the very top left, it'll say New Collection. So we're going to click on that, and that's going to show us our 5 scenes that we downloaded earlier. And so if you want to edit how any of these scenes look, first we can go and click Edit Scene on the one that you want to edit. So in this case, we'll just do Starting Soon screen. So go Starting Soon and click on Edit Scene. So after giving a couple seconds to load, you can see this is our scene. I'm going to go to the right-hand side of the screen and zoom out a little bit so we can actually see everything. And so if you look on the left-hand side, this is all the stuff we're working with. For example, if we don't have Last.fm or don't want to make an account, then we can simply find it on the left-hand side here, which would be this simple one. So if you click on Simple Music, you can literally just go and hit the eyeball to hide it, and now you don't have it. And you can go back, and now it's gone. Or if you wanted to move stuff around, you could click on something and then move it up a little bit. So in this case, I don't know what I grabbed, but it's not that. I think it might be the alert box, which is indicated in the top left corner. It says alert. So yeah, that's the alert box. So if I don't want to grab that, I'll hit the little lock icon, and then now I won't grab it. So if I click again, and then I try to move it, it's not going to grab it. But if we want to do stream is starting, we'll go back and then find, where is it? Starting soon, right there. That's a little graphic. And then now we can click and drag to move wherever we want it. And you can also change the transformation. You can change the opacity, like how see-through it is. You can do a bunch of stuff. The world is your oyster in all this, and I don't want to overwhelm you guys. So whatever changes you want to make, just make them there. Hit save in the top right corner, and then we're going to go back to the scenes overview in the top left. This will bring us back to our collection, which we can now change the other ones if you want. But like I said earlier, we want to keep it easy, plug and play. We're just going to move on to actually putting it in OBS. So what we want to do now is click on this click to download button. It's on the scenes installation tab, so click to download. You're going to name it whatever you want. I'm going to call it Twitch Overlay. Oh my god, I can't spell. There we go. And then hit save. It's going to download that, and then while we're waiting for it to download, we're going to go to the transitions installation. We're going to click on choose your transition, so click that button. And this part is extremely important, so do not skip ahead. You're going to pick whatever transition you want. I'm going to pick a random one, clean neon, and then right behind my webcam, you're going to see transition point and then a number. Write this number down, or remember it if you got a good memory. I don't, so I'm going to write it down real quick and then hit download. So we're going to download that, and we're going to have to input that number in a minute. So once you click download, it might take a couple seconds because it still hasn't popped up for me. So there we go, it popped up there. We'll call it transition cool. and then we're gonna hit save, and now we're gonna open up OBS Studio. So we got this ugly AF OBS Studio open. We're gonna go to the top where it says Scene Collection, click on that, and then we're gonna go to Import. So click on Import. You're not gonna see all this stuff. Mine's just dirty, so ignore that. But you're gonna go to Collection Path here, and you're gonna click on these 3 little dots next to the open blue one, whatever is first for you, so click that. You're gonna go to where you downloaded that Twitch overlay file. It should be a .json, so just double click that. It's gonna put it in there, make sure it's checked, and we're gonna hit Import. And the magic did not happen, so don't freak out, it's normal. We're gonna go back up to Scene Collection, click on that, and then we're gonna find New Collection right here. So click on New Collection, and now you can see still nothing on the screen, but when you click on New Collection in the bottom left, you have this folder. So now if we go to Starting Soon screen, here's our Starting Soon screen. We have our BRB scene, we have our BRB scene. We have Just Chatting, Ending Scene, Gaming Scene. So all of this stuff is ready for us to go. So now let's quickly make these more practical. So the Stream is Starting Soon screen is gonna have your chat that automatically populates here. But right now I'm gonna get rid of that and that. So we'll go back to the website. I'm gonna click on My Scenes at the top and then New Collection. And then we're gonna go to the Starting Soon screen, click on Edit Scene. And I'm going to click on the social one here. I'm going to hide it with this little eye icon in the top left. So that's gone. Do the same thing for this little box here, which is the label. So we'll hide that. So I'm just gonna click on the Starting Soon countdown and then drag it to the bottom middle, and I think that looks super clean. So now I'm gonna hit save again and go back to OBS. And this is looking great. As soon as we have people talking in Twitch chat, it's gonna populate their messages right here. Type some messages in the chat just so you can get an idea of what it's gonna look like. But now let's quickly customize the Just Chatting scene. So click on Just Chatting scene on the left-hand side, and you can see we have that music widget, we got a label, we got a blank spot here, and then we got a blank spot there. And then we have our chat in the top right. What I would do is go back to the scenes overview in the top left here, click that. We're gonna go to New Collection, and we're gonna go to Just Chatting scene, and we're gonna edit that scene. I'm gonna hide all these just to keep it simple. So I'm just gonna click on it, and then I'm gonna hit hide, click on it, hit hide, and then click on the music widget, which I can't click on, so I'm actually gonna go back, find where it says music here, and hide that. So now we can hit save in the top right, so click on save. And really you could use this Just Chatting screen as a gameplay scene, or to show your screen, or whatever you want. But to keep things simple, I'm just gonna have a display here, and then my camera here. So I'm gonna hit the plus button under sources, I'm gonna do video capture device. If you need to re-add your webcam, you can call it whatever you want. So I'll do webcam 2, hit OK. You can choose whatever webcam from the list you have available. I'm just gonna use the integrated webcam to keep it easy, hit OK. Then we're gonna drag this corner, and like I said, you could have this as your screen here, and then something else there, like maybe put your alert box, or you could actually put this over here, and then share your screen over there. Just make sure to drag both of them in between these two, so that way you have that little box around it. So if you wanted to share your screen, you could just hit the plus, and then display capture, hit OK. Then you choose your display here. I'm recording in Streamlabs for this video, so that's why you see Streamlabs, but this is my screen. We'll just stretch it to fit there, and then fit it in between that little sandwich. Now you basically have a nice scene. You can also trim it using the Alt key, but these are rectangles, so it should be fine. I'm just lazy, and I don't want to microscopically keep changing this. And then obviously your chat pops up here. But you can literally set this up however you want. Like you can have your webcam there, vice versa. You can have alerts there and just your webcam there. It doesn't matter. So however you want to set it up. But let's move over to the next one, so the gaming scene. And so you'll do the same thing with your gaming scene. You'll add your webcam here. So plus, video capture device, add existing webcam. And then we're going to drag it into the corner. We're going to have to crop it because it's not a square. So we're going to hold down that Alt key, make it into a square like so, and then probably drag this in between the other two, so that way it fits around the border. And so you can also drag the bottom to crop that perfectly, and that looks good for me. So then you're gonna add your gameplay like you normally would. So I got a game booted up. Obviously you can't see it right now, but that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add it. We're gonna click the plus button. You can feel free to use a window capture, a game capture, or a display capture if you want to show everything on your screen for display. I'm gonna try to game capture because it's usually the most useful for a lot of people. So we're gonna hit game capture, hit OK. If you are playing on one monitor, then you're not gonna be able to use this, I believe. But if you're playing on two monitors, should work fine. Now I'm recording on one monitor, and then the other one is obviously this as well. So I'm gonna choose capture specific window and then manually pick out key. Now if you're doing this in your variety, you're gonna have to switch it every time, so I wouldn't recommend that. But if you're one game player, it's easy. Anyways, we're gonna hit OK, and then we're gonna drag the game capture at the very bottom, and now you have it. And before we edit our gameplay scene, I wanna show you how to import those transitions. So all you gotta do is go to the scene transitions tab down here. We're gonna click the plus button, and we're gonna choose Stinger. Then we're gonna hit OK, and then we're gonna go to the video file where it says browse, click on browse, and you're gonna click on the transition that you downloaded. So in this case, it's transition cool for me because that's what I named it. Click on open, and then you're gonna put in that transition transition point number. So if my memory serves me correctly, my number was 1200. So hopefully you wrote yours down. We're gonna put in that number there and hit OK. Now when we switch between scenes, you're gonna see that really cool transition. Now, if for whatever reason that transition isn't lining up correctly, it's because you put in the wrong number. So you're gonna have to tweak those numbers until it lines up correctly, but it tells you the correct number to put in, so feel free to go back and check that. But now let's move on to correcting our gameplay scene to snazz it up a little bit. So let's go back to the website. So once you're back here, we're gonna go to My Scenes at the top, click it again. We're gonna go back to New Collection, so click that. Then we're gonna edit the scene that we want. So in this case, gaming scene on the right, which is behind my webcam, so I apologize, hide that. Gaming scene, boom, there it is. Then we're gonna hit edit scene, that little green, just kidding, orange button. Wow, I'm off my game today. Then we're gonna zoom out. I don't know why it's so zoomed in. And we're gonna get rid of that music widget. So as you can see here, we got music right there. I'm just gonna hide it. It's gone, perfect. And then now you can see we have my YouTube. Obviously, I'm not using that either. We hit delete. We get rid of it. So if you wanted to move the webcam overlay, obviously just click it. You can drag it anywhere else. If you want to have it in the bottom right, just do that. You're not gonna notice it in OBS, like it changing, unless you go and hit save in the top right. So hit save in the top right. You'll notice that the webcam overlay is over there. So we have to click our webcam, drag it over, and there you go. And so you'll notice that if you actually drag this down, you'll have a lot more to look at. But you can actually split it between the foreground and the background, which are these two different sources here. So if you want to like sandwich stuff in, you can do that. And then if you want to get rid of more stuff, honestly, minimal is in right now. We don't really need this label either, so just hide it. Literally just webcam overlay, done, save. Less on the screen is usually better. And then just let the alerts do most of the talking, which is already set up for you, so you don't even have to worry about it. But literally just rinse and repeat. You can hit save in the top right. You can also test the alerts in the bottom right here where it says test alert, and we'll do Twitch follow, so click that. It's gonna send the alert, and then this is what it looks like over here. And so if you wanted to change things, you could, one, get rid of this. We can hide that, which is the hypometer, so we can hide or show that if you want. Always just mass save in the top right corner. And so if you want to change your alerts and how they look, I'll show you that in 1 second. But first, I know we got rid of a bunch of stuff on screen, like the last FM. I feel like it's actually kind of cool. So if you want to make an account and have it there, I feel like that's a neat addition. But also you can go and just click the add widget here as well. You can do a bunch of different things. So if we click on live chat themes, I feel like this would be really useful on your stream. Is just pick one of these basic widgets. You can do the cozy one, you can do the basic because it's transparent. Really, whatever floats your boat. I'm gonna do this one just cause, and then we're gonna hit install into scene. So we're gonna click on that, and then now we can see right here in the foreground. We click that box. This is our chat, right? So you can put that over in the top left. You can move it wherever you want, and then also you can go and add more stuff. So if you want to add another widget, like let's say a goal bar, you can click on goal bar, and then maybe pick one that suits our stream. Also one that's free to keep all my balling on a budget homies happy. Let's do maybe the world's bar. Actually, just kidding. Let's do synth bar. So click on that, and then we're going to scroll until we find install into scene. So click that as well. And now we're going to find that goal bar, and we're just going to drag it somewhere, maybe at the bottom here. So that way it's not blocking anything important in the game. And the cool thing about these is that if you click on them, you can go to settings and then change it from follow goals, subscriber goal, cheer goal, all that stuff. You can change it from your platform like Twitch, YouTube, Kick, whichever one you want, as well as changing colors and all that fun stuff. So really, you can keep it as minimal or as advanced as you want. And you can go and add that music player we got rid of. Obviously, if you sign up for it, then you can have a lot more choices, but they have this free simple music widget as well. So then you just hit install in the scene, and then you'll get that last FM widget to make it a little bit more polished and professional. But at a certain point, it starts to get more cluttered, so really pick and choose what you want to use. But as for the alerts, we can actually go back to home in the top right there, click that. Then we're going to click on the alerts one, which is right underneath it, and then you'll see my first alert set. So click on that, and then this is where you'll be able to hover over and see what all of the different alerts look like. So for follow, we can just click on that. You'll be able to change the title, you'll be able to change the audio, you'll be able to change the design, the layout, pretty much everything, the animation duration. Just make sure whatever you end up choosing, click save in the top right corner so that way you save your changes. But what I really want to get across is that this can be as advanced or as simple as you want. You don't have to go crazy, but if you do go crazy, you have literally thousands and thousands of different options to use on this site. And the cool part is, instead of paying thousands of dollars to literally have to buy everything individual, you can literally pick the Stream Pass and use my code CPAUSE, save 50% off, which makes it about $7 a month, where you get 24/7 premium support included. So if you have any questions, you can ask them, which is really important, as well as getting access to literally everything you're ever going to need. So for $7 a month, I think it's totally worth it. But once again, if you're balling on a budget and you want to keep it free, this is also a very viable option you can use. So if you want to save money, me, use my discount code down below. And if you want to keep improving your stream, then watch this playlist to the side of me. It's going to show you everything that you need for your stream. My name's Cody, and I will see you. Let me show you.
Black. Black.
Show up in the party.